playing fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, ha, nah, unlikely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running shit right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into gains, I'm the boss, I'm making change. I've been rocking this exchange, popping off and risking things, gonna make a f***ing name. I just wanna be famous, but I don't want that cheap fame. No, I'm not that vain, I just wanna be greatness. 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 Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste it, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate it, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking bite me. Okay, I'm going off every chance I get. I don't really take a loss, well, I'll admit. That's why I'll make it to the top, yeah, I commit. And no, I'm never getting lost, I get after it. Investing in my own stock, cause it's faster than any crypto hits go, let me spend. Everything that you see is something I invent, and it's only a percent. I'm gonna take shots, if I miss all, forget it. I'll take a fat loss just to learn all that's in it. I'm taking snapshots, learning how to fall and get it. I'm getting back up, always stand tall, don't sweat it. I never back up, I don't miss a thing or regret it. I'm always learning, you could call me academic. I'm always working, never been apathetic. That energy is like a poison, needs some antiseptic. Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste this, you can try me. If you wanna hate this, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fight me. Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste it, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate it, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking bite me. No motherfucker in this world can do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself.
Hey, beautiful people.
Hey, everyone.
Got a few in here. Got beautiful Kaz. How are you, my darling? Having a conversation with yourself there. Dave G, how are you? Good to see you over here. Beautiful Julie. How are we all? Hi, Ryan. How are you? Beautiful Megan. How are you, my darling? Spirit time, you're supposed to be at work. That's all I have to say. Judo, how are you? Need to send prayers to Judo. He's having another big surgery in about 2 weeks' time.
Oh,
So we're praying. He's had one and he's still got another one to go. Ozzy Jen, how are you, my darling? I am a couple of minutes left of my lunch break. Well, before you go back to your lunch break, you can at least hit the like for me. So before we start today, I want to show something, because at the moment I am a very proud nana. As you all know, my grandson, both my grandchildren are my world, but my grandson started standing yesterday all by himself.
Oh.
No hands.
oh.
He's my little darling, but yeah, we're so impressed with him. He's crawling now and trying to walk, but yeah, now he's actually started standing with no hands. So Nanny's quite proud of him. Now, He's quite proud of himself.
Yeah, looks pleased as punch right there.
He is. That was his day after the night. He gets excited. The more closer he gets to home, the more he gets excited. So
Adorable.
he is precious, Julie. He's my little man. As I said, I've got the perfect granddaughter, perfect grandson. She can stop now. She doesn't need to continue. But I also get the joy of living with them. So. All right. So let's talk about this. I'm going to say first, so there was 2 stabbings that happened in Sydney over a couple of days. We're only going to be talking about the Bondi Junction one at the moment because I know some creators have put them out there as being the same, and they weren't.
They were not the same.
No. So
And
the
it's
one
really-
that was... Yeah, go.
I was just going to say, it's just really, really important to get it out there that it was 2 entirely separate things, because as Ozzy found out, there are creators out there who are saying that it happened on the one day when it didn't, and they just won't listen. So
and when I tried to correct them, they told me I was wrong, and it's like, I've been looking at them. So the first one, and I was hoping that All Things Serious was going to be here, because the first Bondi Junction one was, and it's sad, it was a mental health problem.
yeah,
Who we're going to talk about, he didn't have a criminal record. Police did know of him, but it was because of his mental issues that he had. His parents lived in Queensland. I have got a presentation we'll go through and explain it all, but I just want to get this out. His parents lived in Queensland, further up from Brisbane. I'm not sure exactly where, but I know it was the top of Queensland. And Joel decided to move out. He decided to go down to the Gold Coast, what is kind of near the Queensland border. It's probably about half an hour to an hour away from the border, I think.
yes, that's correct.
Yeah, and any parent...
I just have relatives in the area. That's just how I know. Yeah.
Any parent who has a child that suffers from mental illness, leave home is the scariest thing, because you can't control what's going to happen. And I think that's what happened to Joel when he left home and he moved to Queens, like down to the Gold Coast. He stopped taking his medication. And for someone who has mental illnesses, do you know what I mean? That's not a good sign.
No, it's definitely not.
Yeah. He then moved to Sydney, and this is how the police knew him, because of his mental issues. So I do want to say that, I mean, it wasn't that he was known for being a criminal or anything like that. It wasn't. I don't have a lot of his parents in here, but his parents have been very vocal over the past couple of weeks. My heart goes to them, because, as they said, this was not their son. This is not the son that they knew. If he was on his medication, or if he was well at the time, he would not have done this. I know that's not a reason, like, it's not an excuse, but it's where we all really have to realize that mental health needs to be looked at. Do you know what I mean? There has to be more protocols put in place to help them, because I know in Australia there's not enough, and I'm assuming it's the same everywhere. But there's just not enough people trained in mental health and how to deal with these people, how to help them. Yeah, I think that's...
Could I just mention something? I mean, I don't know if it's in your... well, in Australia, in my state specifically, which I won't say on a live, and I think it'll be the same for you, Ozzy, as well, that there's just not enough support there for mental health. And what happens is these people go on to commit like crimes, and because they've got like nowhere else to put them, they end up in jail.
Yep.
Like, even though it's a minor thing like crime, where they should be sent to a mental health facility, like say just being abusive language or indecent or whatever, because there's no room, they'll be sent to a prison for a week or something in solitary confinement.
Yeah, it is sad. And the second one that happened, as we said, it was a couple of days after what happened at Bondi Junction. It was in the same area. It was still in a suburb in Sydney. It was a priest who got stabbed.
Yes.
It was a 15-year-old boy that done it. And when they went through, and when they went through it, it was counted as a terrorist attack. So it's not the same thing.
And please stop saying it is the same thing if you're overseas, because it's not. They're completely separate.
Yeah. I do know with the priest one, when do you mean it was planned? It was only one kid in the church, but when they went outside the church, there was over 1,000 people in the suburb ripping palings off fence, like neighborhood fences, bricks. 17 police cars got destroyed. People were jumping on the cars. Do you mean it was a full-on attack? There was one person in the church. There was out. So there's a difference. Do you know what I mean? And we're talking about two completely different situations. So today we just wanted to focus on one, and that's the Bondi Junction one, because I think this one, being mental health, really needs to be told. This story needs to be told, and people need to be aware of who's around us. So, hi, beautiful kitty witty. So I've got another siren part. I live right next to an ambulance station, so if you hear the sirens, that's what it is. So I'm going to bring this one up. So we've had 6 victims all up. They all have now, and this is why it took me a little bit longer. We didn't have the 6th victim for, I think it was a bit over a week before we got the 6 victims' name. And I know some of you know that we spoke about the baby when we spoke about it when it happened.
Yes.
We did the live the next day. So it happened on the 13th, what was a Saturday, and we did the live the very next day. So we were still quite shaken about it because it has hit all over Australia. But the baby was the main thing, and I wanted to make sure I had an update on the baby before we put this out. And I do have an update, what I hope everyone's happy with. But and I've had another update since I've done the presentation. So here was 3 of our victims, and we will go through their names and stuff. Here was the other 3. He did target women. You will notice that there was 5 women.
Yeah. I think I can't remember if this happened just as we were finishing a live or something, but I know it happened like really late at night, didn't it? Like when the news was breaking out, because it was still going. It only when did you hear about it? I heard about it at like 11:30 at night.
Yeah, it happened about, I don't know if I have it in here. I think it was in the afternoon, but yeah, it was by Saturday night that it was started going around. I think I heard it just after 7, but I've got things everywhere for crime. So
Yeah.
My little antlers are
Oh, but
always out
it's
looking.
yeah. So yeah, I think. Oh, oh, yep.
No, you're right.
Okay.
Go.
I was just gonna say, I think um this case is kind of just shows a really big hole in the system when it comes to mental health in Australia. I just
Yeah.
that could have been prevented, and even worse, they knew about it. But
They did, but do you know, what I mean, a lot of people blamed the parents after it, and the parents are feeling so bad for what happened. And I suppose because I have a son that's autistic, do you know what I mean? If he ever left home and went off all his medications, I could only imagine what would happen. It would scare me to death, but it's something. Do you mean there's just not enough mental health out there? My daughter,
nope.
she's better now, but she used to suffer from depression really bad. I took her to the doctors and we took her to a psychiatrist, and they told her to walk and drink water. Like that's going to make someone better. But that's the mental health we have in Australia. There's just
Yep.
not enough people to
Absolute
do it.
garbage. I've seen people on suicide. Oh, oh gosh, I don't know. What what is it? What is the word? YouTube friendly word for the S word? Um,
I'll just say it.
unalive.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen people who want to unalive themselves. Go into the mental health unit at a hospital. They're there for maybe 3 or 4 hours, and then they kick them out again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and one of those, unfortunately, was succeeded and jumped off the bridge, Story Bridge. I'll send you I'll send you the bridge. I mean, on Facebook
Yeah.
later.
It
Anyway,
happens all the time. Like, even here in
yeah,
Melbourne, we have people jump off our bridges onto the train tracks all the time. It stops our trains, and I get upset because people go off about the trains being late, and it's like, I understand that's annoying to us, especially when we're all in go, go, go all the time. But when it's someone's life, you have to stop. Do you know what I mean? When someone thinks that their lives came to ending it or hurting others, it's where we all need to reach out and just be mindful of what other people are going through. So here's Bondi Junction. It's a suburb in Sydney, and I've put the little map of Sydney is underneath it. Beautiful Aussie Jen is putting in some links for support if anybody does need it. And if this story does trigger you, please just turn off. The view's not worth it to me if it's triggering someone. That's not what we're here for. So you can see underneath is the little Australian map, and I've kind of put a dot there where Sydney is, so you can see where it's situated, I guess. And then this is the Westfield Shopping Centre at Bondi Junction. It's a beautiful big centre. Do you know what I mean? These Westfields are all over Australia. I don't know if they're in America, but they are all over Australia.
Is this the one in Victoria?
No, this is the one in Bondi Junction.
Oh, okay.
Where it happened.
Okay, I thought, yeah.
It's just the front entrance.
Ah, gotcha. No, it just looked really similar to one I saw down
there. They all
do
look the same.
Yeah.
A lot of the pictures have been done from the side. So a lot of the pictures you'll see were taken from the side, but this is the front entrance of the thing. A young guy that we live so awful was from my daughter's workplace. It's horrible. So sad. Okay.
Oh, yeah, you're still there. Yep.
So 6 people were unalived, and the person who done it was shot dead after multiple people were stabbed at Westfield Bondi Junction shopping centre in Sydney's east on Saturday. As police and paramedics rushed to the scene, Police Inspector Amy Scott, who was nearby at the time, was guided by shoppers to the man Joel Cushy, who was armed with a knife.
Yeah. Is that how you say it? Cushy?
Cushy?
I thought it was Cauchy.
Cushy?
Yeah. Okay. I could never pronounce that.
I just got it from news. That's what news was saying. Cushy.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Sorry if I pronounced his name wrong.
Yeah.
So this was him going up the escalators with the knife. I do know he ran around the, like down on the ground level first, but I do know he did get to the second level. There was people who were brave and trying to fight him with the, what do you call them, like the poles, the banister things, and were trying to keep him from going up the level, but he did get up the level.
No, he did. That's right.
Yeah, they got him on the second level. So how it unfolded. At 10 a.m., Joel Cushy is seen entering Sea Noodles, what's a restaurant in Bondi Junction. He ordered a chicken curry, but was unable to pay. Appearing agitated, he leaves the restaurant. I put this in because it's what he done, but it's something as simple as that can set people off. Do you know what I mean? I know it was just like it was a meal, but it's something like that can set them off. 12:30, Cushy returned to the restaurant outside the Westfield, and he ordered the same meal, and this time he paid for it. So at 1 p.m., Cushy was seen walking through Bondi Junction. Between 1 and 3, police are still investigating Cushy's movements in these 2 hours. At 3:10, police said a man walked into Westfield Bondi Junction shopping centre before he left, who was Joel. He returned at 3:20. Cushy returned at the shopping centre 10 minutes later. New South Wales Police Commissioner Tony Cook said that the man began using the knife on people. I'm just trying to think of a nice way to say it.
Oh, you want to see Paisley's comment, Ozzy?
What's that? My daughter-in-law was there with my little grandson 45 minutes before it happened. They were on Easter break. And with her parents who live in Bondi, my youngest son knew Dawn Singleton. Oh. The stories coming out are so sad. I'm so glad that your daughter-in-law was okay, though, and didn't get caught up in it. Okay. Shortly after, police rushed to the scene after they received multiple calls from members of the public. Police Inspector Amy Scott was nearby at the time and was directed to the man by shoppers in the centre. She followed the man, who moved to level 5 of the shopping centre as she continued to walk quickly behind him to catch up to him. He turned around to face her, raised the knife, and then Amy Scott, who was the officer, shot the man dead. So what I have heard, and this is just from so many articles that I have read about this, when the police got called, Amy Scott, who is a police officer, was just around the Westfield, so she didn't actually get called to this, but because it was in the area that she was in, she went to it. There are videos, and I'll show you later as well, where you can see that, as I said, people were trying to stop him, and obviously they led her to where he was. Joel was lunging at her with the knife when she did what she had to do. The young girl being at home with her sister Summer. I'm so sorry, Paisley. So very sorry. So this was Amy Scott. She was the officer that, yeah. I know. Could you imagine the damage if he did have a gun?
Oh, it'd be a lot more people unalived if there was a gun.
So 4:30 police, New South Wales police confirmed that they received reports that multiple people had been stabbed. Officers urged police to avoid the area. Urged people to avoid the area. At 6:20, New South Wales Police and the New South Wales Ambulance hold a press conference and confirmed that 5 people had passed away and more than several people were in hospital. Yeah. Or the backup that got sent, she was the only one that approached him.
Yeah.
Authorities later confirmed that 6 people had passed. So 6 people had passed in the mass attack at Westfield Shopping Centre at Bondi Junction in Sydney's eastern suburbs. The man was a 40-year-old male known to police. He was shot dead by the lone officer at the scene. Police do not believe that he acted with intent. 8 people were rushed to hospital in a critical condition after the attack just after 3 p.m. So it would have been just after that police conference that I would have found out. A baby and a mother were among those that were attacked. The mother, a 38-year-old woman, has since passed away from her injuries. The baby continued to receive treatment. Video appears to show a man wearing a rugby league jersey holding a knife at shoppers as the shoppers flee. Mobile phone footage shows crowds within stairwells and other shoppers staying. So they were excavated to the roof. Shoppers helped victims as others crowded in shops for up to 2 hours. The attacker acted alone and there is no ongoing threat. I will show, obviously we've got some of the video, but I think it was for like 3 or 4 days. It was all you saw. If we turned on social media other than like obviously YouTube, because that goes to what we watch, but TikTok, Facebook, everything was just full of these videos going around. And to me, that made it worse because, do you mean the ones that were caught up in it or had family caught up in it? That's all you saw for a couple of days.
Yes.
Yeah, the baby is out of hospital now and doing well. I read that this morning.
There is I think they managed to raise $500,000 GoFundMe for the baby.
Yeah, I had a story I seen this morning. The baby's name was Harriet. It was 673,000 that they got for him. I'm just going to copy that and I'll put it in the chat. So I just put that one in the chat. That's you put it up and I took it down. So that's what they made in the GoFundMe for the baby, and Dan, what was the husband. So not that it releases.
No.
So this was Ashley Good. She was the first victim that he attacked, and obviously being mum to the bub. So she was 38. She was fatally wounded as she tried to save her baby from the attacker. She was taken to hospital but passed away not long after. Her 9-month-old daughter was also injured and remained in hospital after surgery. Ashley Good was 38 and was fatally wounded as she tried to save her baby from the attacker. Good's family released a statement this morning. I don't think I
just wanted to add something.
okay.
That the baby, the unaliver actually attacked the baby's stomach, so it was really, really bad.
So when Ashley got attacked, she literally threw the baby into the arms of strangers that were walking past, asking them to help her, or help the baby. And she didn't know who they were, but do you know what I mean? Obviously, they took the baby, but he continued to still attack the baby as well. The baby was taken to intensive care and had surgery straight away because she had been stabbed in the stomach.
Yep.
I think it was only the one, but one enough for the baby. Do you mean I kept looking at my grandson because he's nearly the same age, and it just tears my heart out. Think that someone could hurt someone so tiny.
Yeah.
Today we are reeling. So this was the statement. Today we are reeling from a terrible loss of Ashley, a beautiful mother, daughter, sister, partner, friend, all-round outstanding human, and so much more. They said we appreciate the well wishes and thoughts of members of the Australian public who have expressed an outpouring of love for Ashley and our baby girl. The family said it was struggling to come to terms with the tragedy, but thank police and health personnel. I was 9 months old when I lost my legs, so young, but the baby seems like a strong one. Prayers for him. I know, Jude, I know your story. It's sad too. Just trying to find mental health intake pre-COVID in Australia. They have padded numbers during, just like Canada. In the hospitals, they were given $14,000 for every death. Hospitals falsely claimed mental illness is common. 1 in 5 Australians experience mental illness every year, and 45% of the Australian adults will be affected by mental illness at some stage in their life. Yeah.
Yep.
And sadly, there's just not enough to compete with it. We don't have people that know what they're doing. The ones that are out there that will take people, do you mean, don't really, as I said, they don't like daughter to have a glass of water and go for a walk.
stuff through.
Yeah.
And they just like wonder why these sort of things happen. I mean, he needed treatment and he obviously wasn't getting it or couldn't afford it. So,
well, I think money was a problem because, as I said at the start, he couldn't even afford the meals. So, to the two men who held and cared for the baby when Ashley could not, words cannot express our gratitude, the statement said. Ashley was remembered by her friend Andrew Reed as the most beautiful person that you'd ever met, who had dreamed of being a mum. Never said a bad word about anyone, always, light the room up with a smile, he told Today. An online fundraiser was set up to support her family and has raised thousands of dollars already, and that's the one that I put in. There have been multiple fundraisers. I think every victim has had a fundraiser. And the one thing I can say is Australia's been very, very kind. All of them have
yes.
got quite a bit. But this has hit Australia like no tomorrow.
I don't think I've seen something this big since what was that terrorist attack? And I think it was in a building, in an office or multi-story building in Sydney.
The coffee shop?
Yeah.
Chocolate coffee shop or something. I remember that.
Yeah.
I think that was during COVID, wasn't it?
Or
just
no, I
before
think
it?
yeah, sound just before it, because I don't remember the cops or anything wearing masks or anything like that.
Two brothers in the shopping centre described how the grievously injured Ashley tried to save her baby, giving her to the men and pleading for them to save her. I mean, we see so many bad mums in true crime. It's just good to finally see a good one.
Yes, definitely.
I know she lost her life, but at least she was trying to save her baby. And I mean, prayers to all her family, to everyone's family who lost someone, even the ones that were just injured. It's just bad. So a major update on Ashley Good's baby daughter, who was injured at Bondi Junction, Westfield in Sydney. The baby girl's mother, Ashley, was one of 6 people who were unalived. A 9-month-old baby injured in the horrific attack at Westfield in Sydney on Saturday has been moved out of the intensive care unit. The baby girl mother, Ashley, was one of 6 people who were unalived in the attack, with another dozen people injured. The little girl suffered chest and arm injuries in the attack and was rushed to Sydney Children's Hospital at Randwick for emergency surgery, where she remained in a serious but stable condition on the ward. I was there.
Yeah, I think Jen's talking about the terrorist thing in Sydney.
Okay. A GoFundMe had been created to support the baby, which has raised almost $450. But I gave you the current one. That was what I gave was off this morning. The only difference: patients were taken to St Vincent Hospital, the Royal Prince Alfred Hospital, and the Royal Northern Hospital. I love how my children know I'm live and they just ring me from another room. What was I about to say? So since I have made this, I did read an article this morning that the baby has now gone home. So that is even better news. But when I made this, it had just been taken out of intensive care. Can you just talk for a minute? I just want to go check my daughter and make sure she's okay because she's been unwell. Just
that
give me
flu going around.
like about 2 minutes. I'll just go check her.
Okay, no worries. Jeez. Yeah, it was pretty brutal hearing that case. Yeah, that's correct, Paisley. He came from. I stopped his meds. Yeah, I believe I heard that as well. Oh, okay, yeah. I thought that would have been streamlined, Paisley, between Queensland and New South Wales. That's interesting. They must have different regulations on whatever he was taking. Very interesting. Thanks, Paisley. Lint. Yes. If you're feeling upset or really down and in crisis, please, and you're in Australia, please call Lifeline on 13 11 14. Yes, the coffee shop siege. That was it, Paisley. Yes, I cannot remember what they called it. They had some sort of name in the media for it.
All right. Sorry, my daughter's not well at the moment. What happened?
Paisley just brought up something interesting that I actually didn't know, and I don't know if you knew it.
What's that? Sorry, this has stopped, so I'm just gonna bring it up again.
Okay. I've put the comment of Paisley. So Paisley just put this in chat, but the unaliver came from a different state, which we know to be Queensland. He stopped his meds, and he had trouble getting back on them due to him changing states. That I didn't know. I thought it would have been streamlined between Queensland and New South Wales. So what exactly was he on that it would be available in one state and not the other?
It doesn't. It doesn't mean that they couldn't get it in another state. So when my son, do you mean I can only go off my son? I know when we moved from Queensland to New South Wales first, he was on Ritalin because of his autism. I've spoken very much about him being autistic.
Yes.
In Queensland, I had no problem getting it. Do you know what I mean? The doctor that actually delivered him was the main pediatricianist, so she followed Sebastian, obviously, and I had no problem. Once I got to New South Wales, I basically had to get him reassessed to get his medication. We moved to Victoria, and it got even worse. My son's now decided that he doesn't want to take medication anymore because they've made it so hard to get. Mind you, now he's older, he's actually better off it, but I'm one of the very lucky because not many people are better off their meds. But let's take this to where. And I apologise for leaving. My daughter's unwell, so I just wanted to check that. Obviously, she wasn't enough to breathe.
Paisley also found out the name of the siege. It was the Lint Calf siege.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I remember that one.
Yeah, it was pretty big.
So a third woman.
Oh, yeah.
Go.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that it's one of those names you think it'd be easy to remember, but it wasn't. Anyway.
A third woman is in a stable condition on the ward. 2 men are in stable conditions as well on the wards in the hospital. So this was Dawn Singleton. She was another one that passed away. So beautiful. So Dawn was the daughter of a millionaire Australian businessman, John Singleton, she was also unalived in the attack. The 25-year-old, named for Olympic swimming great Dawn Fraser, was the second victim identified. A University of Technology Sydney graduate, Singleton worked as an e-commencer assistant for White Fox Boutique.
Wow.
Dawn was unalived in the Bondi attack. In a social media post, White Fox Boutique said the woman's fashion line not only lost an employee, but someone special to us who felt like a family member. We are truly devastated by this loss. Dawn was a sweet, kind-hearted person who had her whole life ahead of her. She was really amazing. We send our love and deepest condolences. I'm just going to move that to condolences to her partner, the Singleton family, and her friends. I'm just seeing if I put in here. So this was posted for her. This was the message from White Fox, what I've just read out. I have read a couple of stories about Dawn. Obviously, she's been spoke about quite a bit. But Dawn was actually about to get married as well. A couple of days before the attack, she had just put down a deposit on a wedding dress. Her fiance was actually one of the officers that was called to the Westfield. And when they found out that Dawn was one of the victims that had passed, they had to try and coax him away because they didn't want him to come across her. So it was very sad. So Jade Young was another one of our victims. Jade Young was an architect and a mother of 2. She was the third victim identified. It said in yesterday's, but that's just from when I was making it. The 47-year-old Belleville Hill woman has worked as an architect for more than 2 decades and is a member of the Bront Surf Life Saving Club. I sadly have to report that a Bront SLSC member, Jade Young, lost her life during the tragic events in Bondi Junction, the club said in a statement. I do know yesterday I seen pictures where the club also, I guess other people as well, took all their boards out in Bondi Beach and they swam out into the water and had a big circle It almost looked like a love heart, but I'm assuming it was a circle. And they sat out there for an hour for all of the victims. Hi, 71. How are you? Jade Young was identified as the third victim. If I just put that all in again? No. Some of you might have known Jade as she and her family had been active in youth education. We encourage you to reach out to your friends and family and available support services, as this tragedy will no doubt touch many in our community. So this was again from the club that she was in. The club has cancelled its weekly drinks to pay respect to Young and the other 5 victims. Well, at the end, 71, you're going to have to rewind to get the start. Young's workplace, Georgia Wilson Associate, paid tribute to their beautiful colleague as well. I can't believe I'm writing this. It doesn't feel right. The Double Bay-based architect studio posted on an Instagram. Jade was a part of our GWA team for over 12 years. She was family. Anyone who knew Jade knew what a beautiful, kind soul she was. We are completely devastated. All our love goes out to her family. We love you, Jade. You can still watch from here, 71.
We also put some links to articles in the Facebook group. You know, if you guys are interested in this case, because if you, as Aussie will put some in there as in the Facebook group. But if you, yeah.
Because we're not like America, we can't just have pages with all this stuff on. So when we find good articles, usually me or MacJ chuck them in my Facebook page. So if it's something we're researching, you can guarantee there's going to be an article or two go up in there.
Yeah, because we don't get discovery. Yeah.
This was the only guy that was attacked. He was a security guard there. But yeah, he was the only gentleman. So he was a security guard that was fatally attacked while he was working at the center. It was his first day of working at Westfield. According to reports, he was trying to stop the attacker. Security guard Fazil Talia, age 30, was fatally stabbed in the attack. He was in the Muslim community. He was 30, sought refuge in Australia a year ago after fleeing prosecution in his home country in Pakistan.
I think maybe this is where the source of the confusion between the two cases came about. Were you on Twitter the day this happened?
Yep.
Did you see how people were saying this was also a terrorist attack?
They were trying to put it down as a terrorist attack, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
It didn't have. Yeah.
I wonder if it's because of this guy that they immediately jumped to it being a terrorist attack when it wasn't.
I don't know. I know this gentleman. He was a security guard there, and he was, well, as it said, it was his first day. But while he was in hospital, they did grant him his visa. So now they're just speaking about him trying to get his residency in Australia. He did get it while he was in hospital. The Prime Minister just gave it to him. We were devastated. No, it wasn't him. It was another one that was attacked, that was trying to get a visa and was given to him because he's still alive.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm getting my stories mixed up now because I've had so many that I've been reading.
Oh, no, I understand completely.
We're devastated by his passing and recognise the team members' bravery, role as a first responder, Scent Group Chief Executive Officer Elliot Russell said in a statement, "Another member of our security team was injured and remains in hospital. He was also known and loved member of the Muslim community of Australia and also actively contributed to the charitable endeavours of the Muslim Youth Organisation." So it would have been the gentleman that, like the other member that they were talking about, that was a security officer.
Yes.
He was the one who was granted Australian citizenship while he was in hospital.
Yeah.
It's people and TV from other countries assume a lot. I know. I help people. Don't get me wrong, and especially with people who want to start channels. I'm not going to mention the channel, but there was a channel of a lady who I helped her. I showed her StreamYard. I showed her certain parts. She decided that she was going to do one on all of this. She got everything wrong. And I went in the chat just to direct her in the right way or just give her some information. And she basically shut me down and kicked me out of her chat. So you live and learn, but
yeah,
it's just she had none of the facts.
It's also a bit frustrating when you hear stuff like that, and especially for the victims, you know, who are getting, and you've got people conflating these two very different crimes, you know, as one big crime, and, you know, the victims. I can't even imagine how that would feel if you went onto YouTube and you've got people who don't know the cases properly, and then, you know, your loved one's passed away and they're getting everything wrong. I mean, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, no. I just left the chat. I didn't. I'm not there to cause drama. Okay, our thoughts and prayers are with Fazil's family and loved ones during this difficult time, as well as with all the other victims and families affected by this senseless act of violence. Community Australia, the Muslim Community Australia, said in a statement, "We extend our deepest condolences and stand in solidarity with the border community as we come together to support one another in the face of this tragedy." We are a multicultural country. And you see it a lot more in the main parts of the city too.
Yes.
Like in Melbourne, Brisbane. I know Jimmy, I lived on the Gold Coast for ages and didn't notice it as much because we had a lot of tourists that came to the town. But in Melbourne, I've noticed just how much we are a multicultural country. So this was another one of the victims. What are we up to? 4, I think.
Yes.
So Pika, sorry, I can't say their names.
Pikria. Yeah, Pikria. I think that's how I heard it said anyway. Pikria.
So Pikaria was 55, had been named as the 5th victim of the attack. No further details about her have been released, and her family have requested privacy. She was 55, and basically all we know is that she was the 5th victim. But I still thought she deserved to be up there with the rest of them.
I agree.
So Yixin Cheng, this was the 6th person to be identified. This is the one we had to wait a couple of days for.
Is she a student? Because if
I think so, yeah.
Then they probably had to go get someone from overseas to confirm it was her. So that's probably why it took so long.
Yeah, it was like 4 or 5 days. because I was waiting and
Right.
waiting. I had half the presentation made, and I was waiting for the update on the baby. I was waiting for this 6 person's name. And so Vixen Ching was named on Monday as the 6th victim of the stabbing spree. The University of Sydney had confirmed that she was a Chinese national who had been studying at their campus in Australia. USYD, what's student Vixen Chang, was unalived in the Bondi shopping. I'm just going to call it the shopping centre spree because I don't want to keep saying that word.
Keep saying.
Like you, I'm shocked and saddened by the sensational violence and loss of a life that occurred at Bondi Junction on the weekend. This is the Vice Chancellor and President, Mark Scott, who said that in a statement. On behalf of the university, I extend my sincere condolences to the students' family and friends. We are working closely with the Chinese consultant and students' family to assist in any way we can. Police were yesterday trying to contact the family overseas. And that would be one phone call I would never want to make.
Nope.
The Chinese embassy released a statement saying they are deeply shocked and saddened by the unfortunate passing of one Chinese student and the serious injury of another. We extended our deep condolences to the victims and heartfelt sympathies to the families and wish early recovery to the injured. We will continue to maintain close communication with the Australian side and do our utmost to provide necessary assistance to the families of the Chinese victim. Well, victims, because one was hurt. So that was her. I couldn't get one without the watermark on it. I was so trying.
Yeah, it must have come from one of the Chinese social
Every
medias.
picture that was put out of her had that marking on it. Hi, beautiful
wow.
Susan. So this is Joel Cushy. You've got me curious on that now.
Cushy.
So who was Joel? Joel was a 40-year-old man from Queensland who lived in an itinerant lifestyle, moving throughout the state before travelling to New South Wales last month. Queensland police said he was single with no children and believed he'd been living in a vehicle since arriving to Sydney. The Queensland Police Acting Assistant Commissioner Roger Lowe said Cushy had been diagnosed with a mental illness aged 17, for which he had received treatment, but his mental health had declined in the last number of years. And that was from when he left his parents. His last contact with his family was in March. Police said he was periodically text his mother with an update to where he was. Cushy was a member of a number of Facebook groups related to social activities throughout Sydney. He had posted in one group as early as last week, wanting to meet others for a surf at Bondi Beach.
Here's a question for you, Ozzy.
Mm-hmm.
Did he want to meet others, or was he wanting to meet a woman? You know? Because it's just strange to me that he posted that and that he goes on to attack all these women in the Westfield Shopping Centre, you know?
I heard that he was attacking women because he couldn't get one. But that's just something that was going around. I don't know how much truth was to it. And I also saw an article of another lady who had dated him and obviously came out commenting on how weird he was. But I don't know how much of that one I believe, because she said that she dated him for a year but only saw him once. And that's when I sort of sat back and thought, And sometimes people will do stupid things just to get fame. Yeah. I suppose he was just looking for happiness and to fit in. Do you know what I mean? Living in his car as well would have put pressure on him. Financial, obviously, was another. It's just so many things that. Well, the perpetrator at Bondi was diagnosed at 17 years old as schizophrenic and stopped his meds when he came to Sydney. His parents said, yeah. He stopped his meds when he was in Queensland as well, because that's how the Queensland police. He moved from his parents to the Gold Coast and then moved to Sydney. And when he was in the Gold Coast, he wasn't taking his meds properly either. I seen an article from the parents that said that. In January, he posted in a backpackers group seeking people to carpool with and explore Sydney. He also appears to have been a keen interest in astronomy, frequently posting in groups about this. Queensland Police said he was unemployed. The New South Wales Police Commissioner, Karen Webb, said there would be an investigation for many days and perhaps weeks into Joel. Police would work to identify the movement of the offender on the Saturday and in the hours of the day, the weeks, his life leading up to what happened. Man, he's schizophrenic. Patients do go off their meds thinking they are well. It does not end well. Yeah, I know. There just needs to be more help as well, and more training around it, Jimmy, not only for the people that are sick, for us as well that are around. We need to just all open up and help them a little bit more. What was the motive for the attack? At this stage, police have not identified a motive. Lowe said Queensland Police had been liaising with Coochie's family throughout Saturday evening and Sunday. The family viewed footage of the attack on television and believed that may well have been their son before reaching out to authorities. Lowe said the family was cooperating with investigators and had released a statement expressing their condolences to the families and friends of victims involved in the tragedy. One thing I do got to say, what I thought was really sad was that people were actually attacking Joel's parents.
Yes.
Quite bad about it as well, and that's really sad as well, because as a parent, I know myself, we can only do so much. Do you know what I mean? Once they leave, you can't stop them. He was an adult and his parents couldn't have stopped what happened. Oh, thank you so much, Susan. Oh. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Susan.
Equally, they have sent a message to the New South Wales Police Force and respect it to support of the police officer who had unalived their son and expressed their concerns for her welfare. Webb said that whether or not Coochie was targeting women would be an obvious line of inquiry. Do you mean we do now that he was? But even that there shows these parents weren't just Joe Blows. Do you know what I mean? They were still caring about the officer that had to take the shot. Is it true that his doctor had tampered him off his meds? His parents mentioned it. If so, that doctor needs to be dealt with. I don't know. I hadn't heard that. I did know that he stopped taking his meds when he moved to the Gold Coast, and that he was having trouble with them, getting them in Sydney. But it's so hard. If you move state to state with having a medical condition, as I said with my son earlier, it is just so hard. Even if you've proved in other states that you need these meds. My son was lucky he had me as an advocate for him, but for someone who's by themselves that don't have advocates and can't think straight, do you know what I mean? My heart goes out to them because they don't have someone to stand up for them. So this was just Joel again. The first one's obviously him on the elevator. The second one was him when he was in trying to buy that meal.
I don't think.
Yeah, go.
Are we showing the videos from like it actually
I've got
happening?
some, yeah.
But are
I've
they
got some
YouTube
I'll
saved?
show.
Oh, okay.
If I can still get into it, because it's a Sunday Herald and they usually block me out. Yes, if you're that sick, you need family help. Poor parents tried so hard. My heart, yeah, so did my heart goes to them too, Jen. And they've been so upset. And that's what I mean. People have been physically attacking them as well. What were his previous interactions with police? Webb told reporters that Kushi was known to police in New South Wales and Queensland. He is not known criminally, but he has come to notice of law enforcement in the state of Queensland for his mental health related issues. She said Lowe said Kuchi or Joel had never been arrested in Queensland nor charged for any criminal offence, with no record in the courts for domestic violence orders either.
That was another rumour going around.
That's why I said the one with the girlfriend that said that she dated him for a year and only seen him once, why I didn't really take much liturgy in that.
No, I mean,
Caregivers are a godsend. They definitely are. I'm very lucky. Like, it's, as I said, it was always a fear of mine. But as I've got older, my second oldest daughter has now become my son's carer. Not that it's so much a big thing now, but at least I know when I pass, he won't be left alone and just put out there. And I take my heart off to her for doing it. Do you know what I mean? She's a beautiful sister and daughter.
What's
he had been in contact. Yeah, go.
Oh no, I was just saying. A lot of the, I'm not sure how it is in the States, but here a lot of the work is actually done by carers, more so than the government can provide. You know.
Yeah. Most definitely. He's been in contact with police primarily for the last 4 to 5 years. During that contact, we are aware here that the individual had suffered from mental health. The last interaction Queensland Police had with Coochie was in December 2023, where he was street checked on the Gold Coast. At a news conference, Lowe was asked if Coochie had a knife obsession and had even called the police on his family for taking away his knives. Lowe responded, We're aware of an event in 2022 which we're investigating. But obviously there was no charges there because, as we said before, he didn't have any criminal charges. But Coochie had never been charged with any offence relating to knives or found in possession of knives in an unlawful manner that would warrant prosecution. Where did Coochie come to New South Wales? It's believed that Coochie moved from Brisbane to New South Wales in March, 1 month before the attack. He rented a very small storage unit in Sydney's inner city, which Guardian Australia understands was only about 1 cubic metre in size. Well, it's very tiny. Webb would not confirm its contents, but said anything found would form part of the investigation. Contents found so far had not revealed any motive. According to social media, Koosh was raised in Toowoomba. He left a review from a local restaurant 11 months ago. Lowe said that he had moved around Brisbane to Kangaroo Point and Carina, then back to his family. Hey,
it's pronounced Carina.
Carina. Then back to the family's residence, understood to be in Rockville, near Toowoomba, over the past few years. In 2019, the Toowoomba Art Society welcomed Coochie as a new member, according to a newsletter at the time. How do people describe his character? The owner of a knife sharpening business in Queensland, speaking on the condition of amenity, told The Guardian Australia that Coochie was an odd and strange guy. Roughly 3 years ago, Coochie had asked the business to sharpen his 2 everyday knives, which I thought was weird. The owner said he wasn't a chef or a butcher. He goes, "Oh no, I just do a bit of dabbling in the backyard with the knives and I use them every day." It shouldn't matter whether you're a butcher. I sharpen my knives.
Well, yeah, it's
anything wrong.
I use them for cooking, so like the proper like cooking knives. So I don't see why it's that strange. But
no, I sharpen my ones all the time. The business owner said Coochie had not engaged small talk and was very to the point. His expressions, he was just very vague, I suppose you could say. He said no real personality about him, just weird. I heard he leaves 1-star reviews on a lot of people's pages all the time, so just that sort of person. Some of Coochie's reviews included a show at the Sydney Opera House 5 months ago. Absolutely loved it. A restaurant in Elizabeth Bay 7 months ago, absolutely delicious. And a club in Sydney's 1 year ago, the atmosphere is pumped. But they don't sound like bad reviews. They're saying he gave 1-star reviews, but look at the comments. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely delicious. Like,
definitely something.
Yeah.
A bit.
And to say he had no personality is strange, because if you talk to my son out of this house, he probably has no personality to people either, because he doesn't talk. Do you mean when they're sick like that, they don't like talking to people they don't know? His parents said he had an interest in knives. Yeah, I heard that too.
I was just going to say about the not talking part. That's a lot of the people in the disability community don't talk to outsiders of the circle. They just don't, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's taken us. My son sees an OT once a fortnight. It's taken us 4 years to get him just to go to the shopping centre, and I give him $70 a week, and he goes over there now and buys whatever treats he wants for himself for the week. Obviously I buy the normal food, but I give it to him just so that he can go and get some socializing outside of the house. But 4 years ago, he wouldn't have walked into that shopping centre. Do you know what I mean? Now he's
Yeah,
got a very good idea that he will walk in and grab what he wants now.
that's great.
But still, he won't talk to people if he doesn't know them, or do you know what I mean? He doesn't see them. Like, if he doesn't have to speak to them, he wouldn't walk up and just start talking to someone.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean.
On the day of the stabbing, Kushi calmly ate a lunch of red curry chicken and rice just hours beforehand. Roger Simper, 29, served Kushi his lunch at the Sapanan Noodle in Oxford Street Mall, about 100 metres from Westfield, just after midday on the Saturday. He came at 10, but he didn't have any money, so he came back at 12. Singapore said he seemed confused when he ordered normal, but confused. He opened his wallet and paid. He was so confused in that food shop video. Noticed how he's pulling everything out of his wallet and walked out with food. Yeah, without food, yeah. Yeah, I don't think he was in a good state. So these are just more pictures of him. There's one of him at school. Do you mean this one
Do we know
was...
what school he went to?
Would have been Toowoomba, because his parents lived in Toowoomba. They've lived there for a long time.
It just looks like a uniform I might know the school of, but then again, if it's Toowoomba, then it wouldn't be what I'm thinking of, so never mind.
Yeah. Don't know what else I put in here. So this is his parents. As I said, they've been terribly attacked. But I did want to put them up there because, do you mean they deserve our prayers just as much as any of the victims, because they've lost their son too.
Yeah, he you know how much they feel knowing not only that he did that, but you know that he's gone as well. You know, and I'm sure the police officer had a hard choice, but you know, if anyone's to blame, in my opinion, anyone's to blame for this, it's the system. I'm not justifying what he did, don't get me wrong, but what I'm saying is, you know, the government and the not having the correct systems of support in place leads to situations like this.
Okay, so this is, I don't know if I can, these are some of the videos of the day. I can't click on them individually, but you can see in the first one, hey?
When you click on them individually, does it kick you out?
No, it's not letting, see, I'm clicking on it now, it's not letting me open them. But the first one's just one of the restaurants that he ran past. The second one, you can see that the customers are actually fleeing from Joel at the time. The next one is Amy Scott going in. He was entering into Westfield. The bottom corner, again, it's just him running around the centre. You can see people running away. It's kind of the best way I could show some of them. But as I said, these videos were everywhere for at least a couple of days.
Yes, some of them are gone. But I'm not sure if you saw the one, but did you see the one where the person on TikTok actually caught someone kneeling down in front of the victim?
Yeah, I've seen some of the photos.
Yeah.
There was also a guy that was in the Maya store and he seen the first one, Ashley Good, go down. And they'd locked the doors, and he demanded that they let him out because he knew he could help her. And he was helping her until the paramedics got there. So I'll stop sharing that. Now, I know it's weird, but I just wanted to give a minute's silence for all our victims. I have made a little video, and this is just hang on, I just got to find it to bring it back up.
Yes, he did, Jen. He did look a lot thinner.
So it's just a minute's silence to give for the victims. I'm just going to play this. It will only go for a minute, but it's just the flowers that have been put down for the victims and just some pictures and stuff. That's a minute. I know it's weird, but I like to give them that respect, and
No,
we are
it's
talking
cool.
about family members.
Exactly.
So that was about it.
Did you know? Do you know if the Chinese embassy like did anything for the students?
I don't know.
I just
I know
wondering
they were
because
helping with the family, but I know they were in touch with the family and helping, like the Australian embassy and the Chinese embassy were together trying to help. This one I made was just extra pictures that I had put together of just the events. As I said, there was so much coming out so quick for the week. I had a house full of sick people, and I was trying to grab everything I could, even though my house hasn't got much better. I also want to put out, if people haven't watched it, Tammy did a great live the other day. She had Joanne Ratcliffe's sister, Susie Ratcliffe, on her channel. I went up there, and I think it went for about an hour. Did it, Mac J? I think it was about an hour.
Yeah, an hour, just a little bit over an hour.
But it's definitely worth a watch. I have spoke to Mac J, and we are going to cover Joanne's case on here. I want to do a bit more research and put it into a bit bigger of a presentation to cover the case. But if you haven't watched it, go over to Tammy's, give her a like, watch the live, all the things, because it helps us little channels. If you haven't gave this one a like, give it a like so we can get it out to the algorithm, because people need to hear it. Do you know what I mean? Before we have more cases like this.
Yes, exactly.
Ozzy Jen, you're so welcome.
Like to
I
think
hope they
that. Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
I think they will. Do you know what I mean? I know they gave that man his visa straight away, so I think they will help with the costs. That's one thing that Australia is good at. I know the flowers have been removed now, but there is a memorial inside the centre. They opened the centre back up last week.
Oh, wow. I guess they've done all their...
Monday they opened it back up, I think. So...
Probably... Well, that's nice of a big multi-million-dollar corporation to put a memorial there.
Yeah.
I'm surprised, to be honest, that they even did it. Anyway.
That's all right. So I just want to thank everyone for coming in. I know it was only short, but we just wanted to cover this one.
And I think...
I
think it was really important to Ozzy that... well, I can't speak for Ozzy, but I know it was important to us who live in the same country that we sort of help clear up the misinformation a bit. You know what I'm saying, Ozzy?
Yeah. And like, we're happy we can still do one on the priest, but as I said, it was two completely different incidents, and that's how we wanted to treat it. Because mental health is something that we all have to live with, and our loved ones live with it, and we just need to be there for them. Do you know what I mean? Because otherwise terrible things like this happen. Well, thank you, everyone, and keep your eye out, because I'll get with Mac J and we'll get the next live sorted out and in here. But other than that, thank you, everyone, for coming and for watching, and the replay crew, just everyone. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thanks for joining us, Ozzy. And wait, never mind. I'm very tired.
Thanks, everyone. See ya.
Thanks, guys. Bye. See ya.
There's too much that's going on, I don't know what to do. Paralyzed by options in this world, can't pick and choose. Yeah, everybody's life is on display, including you. Yeah, I feel every day is just the same, stuck in a loop. I need some variety, I'm sick of this anxiety, I'm sick of this society. They make us feel a rivalry, compare ourselves to others, but we all got different mothers. We were raised in different structures, so we're different, it's no wonder, yeah. I just want a great life, something where I feel like I just didn't waste time, something I look back and say that was a great time. Cause man, I just hate when the years pass by the wayside. Yeah, lost inside, and I need a little time to find who I am in this life. I will find a way to feel